Cool. So I get a lot of comments on the reels that I do and that I put out, and most are from wackadoodles who have no imagination or belief at all. But one thing that we talk about quite a bit, or that I talk about, is the ability to buy a property with no money down. And the comments are just hysterical most of the times. You can't do that. You're full of shit. All of those things. And if you're that person, please put a comment below. I definitely want to hear from you. But it's true. I've bought millions of dollars worth of properties with really no money out of pocket. So how does that work, right? Like, what happens? And hopefully I'm not going to go too long here, but this will be a couple minutes. So for a lot of years, I was a full-time wholesaler. What does that mean? That means I did a lot of marketing to people who, had problems. They had problem properties that they needed to get rid of, right? They needed to, not be losing sleep over them at night. So we talked to lots of people. I've talked to thousands and tens of thousands of people, right? To do 1,500 deals. So, when I'm talking to a seller, as a wholesaler, we make a cash offer. And the reason that we make a cash offer is because we're selling to a cash buyer who's going to close very quickly, right? We're offering a discounted price to get the deal done very quickly. So, maybe somebody calls up and they want, $150,000 for their property, but, I know that I can only sell this to a cash buyer for, say, $70,000, so I offer them $50,000. So 1 out of 10 people basically will say yes. If you have 10 leads, the law of averages is, if you're doing marketing where people are calling you, that 1 out of 10 will say yes. So, okay, cool. So that's great. So 1 out of 10 people, that's 10%. That'll put you in the wholesaling hall of fame, right? If you can close 10%. But what about the 9 who say no? So with those 9, we are going to make them second offer. And the way it goes is, hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Smith, whatever it is, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So, your good news, your property qualifies for an offer of $50,000, because in my brain, I know I can only sell this to a cash buyer for 70. Right? Because, maybe it's worth 170, 180 when it's fixed up, but it's going to require, maybe $30,000, $40,000 worth of work, right? So there's a little bit of math involved here. It's not complicated though. But anyways, so 50, maybe 55 is the max of what I could make them for a cash offer for a quick close. But that doesn't work. Okay. Well, let's say that they own the property free and clear, which means they don't have a mortgage on it. And you're going to say, David, everybody's got a mortgage. We just went through this mortgage boom and everybody bought houses. Well, that's true, but the statistics show that almost 40% of all the houses in the United States are owned free and clear, right? There's a lot of older baby boomers that own their properties. They don't have a mortgage. They paid the mortgage off, so they can do whatever they want. So great, Mrs. Smith, or Mr. Smith, whatever, I can give you $50,000. It's like, I can't do that. I really needed, whatever it was, 150. And let me ask you a question. Do you need all the money at once, right? So I've already taken my shot. He's not going to be one of my 1 out of 10. Right? So that's fine. They just can't accept the cash offer, and for whatever reason. So cool, man. Well, let me ask you, I might have another way that I could do this. Do you need all the money at once? So again, now we're into our 9, right? We're just taking another bite at the apple. We're just taking another shot. And sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no, but you have absolutely nothing to lose. But they will say yes sometimes, right? Maybe out of every 30, you'll get 1. You're increasing your odds. But anyway, so Mr. Seller, do you need all the money at once? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. If they're a landlord, one of the things that I'll talk to them about is, hey, what was a great part about being a landlord? Getting that monthly rent check. What was the worst part about being a landlord? Dealing with the fucking tenants, because that's terrible, right? I know, I've got almost 100 tenants. So yeah, so that's kind of how that conversation goes. And do you need all the money at once? No. And, let me work this up a couple different ways, and let me see how we might be able to structure this where I can get you the 150 that you need, and we can, set this up where, like, you're the bank, you're Bank of America, and I'll make the payments to you. Would you be open to that? And again, not everybody's going to say yes, but in any business, you have to be consistent and persistent. And if you're everyday marketing, every day you're on the phone, or you're going out to visit your sellers, you're making that cash offer, they don't accept the cash offer. Well, this is the next thing, kind of your fallback. Well, man, I'm sorry that you couldn't take the cash offer, but I might have another way that we could do this. Geez, you need all the money at once. So, that is how we built a really big rental portfolio, is just by asking the question. Did everybody say yes? No, but a lot of them did, right? And some of them, were old retired landlords who sold us packages of 10 and 15 and 20 properties. And, they were more than happy to do what's called carry the note. And that just means that they were willing to be the bank. And again, comments on YouTube and in Instagram and everything. Well, that's fucking stupid. Why would anybody do that instead of just taking the cash? Well, think about it. Typically people that say that have zero finance experience, but you know, if I was to give you $150,000 for your house, you're probably going to pay a third of it in taxes. But if I only give you maybe $700 a month over 20 years or whatever the numbers work out to, well, now you're going to pay a far less amount of tax because the amount is smaller and it's spread out, and maybe some of your other expenses on your tax return or deductions will offset that cash that's come in. So it's definitely a way to save on taxes if you're the seller. That's why it's a good idea. And two, it's like an annuity. Like you're going to get a check on the 15th of every single month or whenever you set up to pay your seller, so that, you know, they don't lose income. They've still got that continuous check coming in. You know, and it could be $1 million package. It could be a $50,000 house. Like we've bought all different types. I think the smallest one I ever financed was maybe like $20,000. The biggest one was well over $1 million. And yeah, so lots of ways to skin a cat. I can't go through, you know, the whole thing. We did a 3-day event in our office last year and recorded it. If you go to our site, David Olds REI, under courses, it's called 3 Offers to Freedom. And we broke down exactly how we built out our rental portfolio, how we make those offers, how we market to those sellers who are most likely to want to do this, and really break all of that down so that you can go out and implement this in your business tomorrow. And you know, I've never done a long video like this on it, but when I get asked to speak around the country, this is the thing that usually draws the biggest crowds, because it's different than Subject 2, it's different from Novation, targeting free and clear owners. It's really the secret sauce that's out there. You know, so hopefully I've given you enough that you can go out and get started. But if you really want to get in depth, reach out to me, or you can go to the website, and we've got that 3 Offers to Freedom. It was a live recorded event at a big discount right now. So hopefully that helps. Go buy you some houses.